You're listening to The Choice FM, where it doesn't matter where you come from, but where we can go together. The show will start in a moment. Hello and welcome to The Choice FM podcast. I'm FD Gifford and I will be your host for the next 15 or 20 minutes. Hope this show will become a favorite, and if you get some value from our regular transmission, please hit the subscribe button so you can get notified of our next episode release. As you may know, The Choice FM is our primary broadcast vehicle and is a central part of the YWNH Media Company. If you are new to the community, this show is intended to be distributed weekly and will cover the important topics of our time and how they impact our daily life and lifestyle from a health and wealth perspective. The Choice FM content is a combination of reporting news and information as found and determined by the show's editors, along with their review and commentary. We invite you to join us each episode, share our broadcast with your friends and family, post comments, and maybe someday join us on air, either as a caller or a guest. Now let's jump in and kick off the show. Well, hello again. Today is December 22nd, 2017, and I'm FD Gifford. I thought I'd cover some of the top headlines in the news recently and share some of my thoughts on a few of them. But turns out the biggest story of the week and probably the year is the GOP's passage of the Tax Cuts and Job Act of 2017, which was signed earlier today. So this may take up the whole show, but I still hope you get some value and listen to it. This story started as originally reported by John Patrick Pullen over at Fortune.com. And the quote from him is, quote, "The GOP tax bill has passed through Congress and is waiting on the president's desk." Well, today it has been signed on the president's desk. Now, most Americans don't have the time or the interest to read the actual bill, especially these massive legalese documents that are put out by our District of Columbia leaders. What we do is rely on summaries gleaned by our favorite media outlet. Unfortunately, this means you are relying on the biased eyes of that author and often their editors via the mainstream media. In this case, the mainstream outlets are trying to scare the crap out of you so you hate the bill before you ever read or experience any of its effects on you, your business, your job, or the economy. Therefore, I decided to give you my quick take. The individual federal tax rates will be lower in 2018. Expect to see your withholding reduced in February, leaving you with more net take-home pay in your paycheck. Given that most Americans don't itemize the deductions, they will be pleased to see that their standard deductions will double, reducing the amount of your adjusted gross income. If you do itemize, your net actual tax payment for 2018 will likely vary depending on where you live. That's because the deductions have changed, such as a new limit on your deductible property and tax and state income tax, limited to $10,000. Personally, that seems like a fairly high amount, placing you in an expensive house and more than likely in a high state income tax bracket. Having once lived in Connecticut, I understand the challenge they face and realize this may offset their tax rate reductions that they're learning under this bill. In addition, on the individual side, is an expanded child care expense deduction and funding. It even funds adult care for those getting squeezed caring for mom or dad too. These are this obviously is great for the single mom or dad and support for those working family households. So far, it sounds pretty good. Is that how you heard it's all about? Next, of this part of the bill the talking heads love to chatter about is on the business side of the tax reform. And quite frankly, this is where eyes glaze over, and if you don't have a business, you should focus only on two facts. First, that the Tax Cuts and the Job Act of 2017 is intended to improve the economy, the GDP, which is gross domestic product, by any amount will obviously give you a lift as well, at least by some amount. Maybe your company will share a bigger bonus or give out better raises, or maybe your company's stock will rise, or just your 401k will grow higher. If the economy grows, employment becomes more secure, and maybe you'll even get a promotion or an opportunity to move to a bigger job somewhere else. Now, I know one thing after years of corporate tax work. You cannot change the tax code in one place without affecting another place. These reforms are no different. We have had years of special interests working special arrangements, and you are free to try to take advantage of them if you can. In an ideal world, every part of the tax code would be equal in opportunity, but we live in the real world. For example, this new reform gives a better tax break to owners of certain real estate arrangements that pass this income through the investment at a lower rate than the owners in individual income tax bracket rates. For example, I heard of your doctor who may also own a medical building or an office building with partners. The rental income is taxed at, let's say, 20% rate, not the higher 37% rate. It seems unfair, and I know the president wanted to eliminate this type of disparity, but Congress was not going to budge at this time, maybe next. As for now, if it is the only something to explore if you have had income tax rate higher than the new rates. If not, you're mad about it, you probably need to check your greed and jealousy behavior and focus on ways you can make more money so that you can get some of those special benefits yourself. FYI, I have no real estate, no benefit from this reform, and I just like you are hoping to see a little more of my own money remain with me. The third most important item I think you should understand from this, and the final part is of the business reforms, is it's a two-part deal. There are lower corporate rates coming down from 35% to 21%. Which makes it more likely that larger U.S. companies will either remain or move operations back to the U.S. from overseas. And this is jobs, 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 people. The other part is a one-time reduced rate for overseas income by companies if they bring that money back to the U.S. again. And again, this leads to jobs, jobs, jobs in the U.S., affecting many more people than just the owners. Now, the final item in this bill were somewhat of a surprise to most of us, at least for me, and I wondered if you also took it as a surprise. The first one was the impact in Alaska and every American. The, quote, GOP tax bill mandates that the federal government hold lease sales in Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, aka ARNWA, end quote. Quote, this would be open the area up to oil drilling and other energy developments, lifting the 40-year ban on the development in this area. Now, this is a big deal. I know that a lot of listeners have been entrained to believe that this is bad for the environment, but you need to understand that energy powers our economy. If you don't have it, you must buy it from someone else. If you don't pump it, you must import it. And we Americans have the toughest environmental laws in the world. So if we don't pump it here and someone else does, you are assuming that that country will do a better job and a cleaner job than us. And it's just not so. The good news is this change will create jobs, 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 because this region is one of, if not the largest oil field known on the planet. Let's just demand that they do it with care. The other surprise in the bill was the elimination of the individual mandate under the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare. Now, if you've followed any of my blog, you know that this is a topic that I've written extensively on, followed and even stood in front of the Congress March in 2010 requesting that the bill be killed. But this really is the tax on the individuals who do not purchase very expensive coverage as provided on their state-run health exchanges. Again, what this is not to like about this is the fact that you hear all sorts of predictions about people losing their health insurance because of this, but that is just bunk. These individuals already have no insurance. They just are now not getting taxed or getting some tax relief for not being able to afford their expensive insurance. Now, you will hear how this will cause the health insurance rates to rise. Again, bunk. Insurance rates are set based on the experience of the quote-unquote covered members' experience. What those spreading fear are saying is more individuals will voluntarily drop their health insurance coverage because they will not be penalized. Yes, some will, but that should have been their right from the beginning. The Obama administration argued in front of the Supreme Court of the United States that this is or was a tax and not a penalty, just to secure a ruling that PPACA, the larger Affordable Care Act bill, was not unconstitutional. Given the fact that Congress has the right to tax, they won, but do not have the right to mandate you to purchase anything. Oh my, I think I rambled on too long with just this one story. I hope that there are some other headlines that may caught my eye. I may follow up with a review. If not, I hope you have a happy holiday and a Merry Christmas. Let me know if you think anything special about them in the comments. I'd love your feedback. And finally, I want to say I hope you're getting some value from these broadcasts. I know they're rough. I'm an amateur at this point, but they're real. And like so many of the others that I have watched or listened to, I've decided to be real and honest is better than fake and or overly produced. I can say this to you as we head into the new year. I am feeling better about each one as they come out. I promise to get better, and let me know if there is a particular topic you would like me to cover. Given it is almost the weekend, and I want to wish you again a Merry Christmas, and I want for Christmas is peace on earth and a few more views on this challenging podcast world. Bye-bye. The music on The Choice FM comes courtesy of zimmusiclibrary.com. broadcasting today from the beautiful Carolina coast. Have a great day. Production. All rights reserved.